Hey guys, and welcome to Performance Cars. So today I have a Mercedes Benz C63 AMG. This is a rival to the BMW M3, and we are going to take a look around. We'll go for a test drive and then we'll weigh the car at the end. So here we have the C63 AMG, and as you can already tell, this is distinctive compared to the normal C-Class. You have those two lines on the bonnet, and the bumper is more aggressively styled. The grille has also been changed to allow extra air to the radiators, so you can just about see that there, and also along the front grille. And if we move on down to the side, look at the front fender. It's much wider than the rear. The front track has been widened by about 1.4 inches compared to normal C-Class, and you also have two vents just in front of the front wheel. 19-inch alloy wheels all round, slightly staggered, so this is running Michelin Pilot Super Sports, and on the front we have 235 35/19s, 6-spot calipers. Also have the 6.3 AMG badge on the side. And if we move on to the rear, this is running 265 35/19s, also Michelin Pilot Super Sports, and these are 4-pot calipers on the rear with this multi-spoke alloy wheel. And moving on to the rear, we have quad tailpipes with a sort of diffuser style rear bumper, and of course your C63 AMG badge with a subtle spoiler. But let's go take a look at the engine bay. So those bonnet lines that I mentioned before are to clear the intake, which is on either side of the 90-degree V8 engine. 32 valves, double overhead cam, variable valve timing, and it pushes out about 451 brake horsepower, 443 foot-pounds of torque, and the engine just about fits into the engine bay. It's quite tight, but apart from that, there's not much to see in here apart from this badge right in the middle, which I believe is to show who built the engine. But this thing sounds awesome. We'll take a look inside now. So moving along to the interior of the car, on top of the door you have this chrome trim finish which extends all the way to the rear. And if I spin around to the door card, brushed aluminium finish along the door card, and you have your memory seat functions, your mirror switches, window switches, and unfortunately here we have a bit of cosmetic damage which is done by the owner. She's a very nice lady, but her nail catches onto the door card. But moving on, we have the trunk opener just hiding there. And to the interior, this is a 7-speed automatic gearbox, so you have just a brake and accelerator pedal there. Two very supportive front sport seats with the AMG branding at the top, and the bolsters, they are very body hugging. So if I pop inside to the steering wheel, it isn't too bad. You can also opt to change gears manually via these paddle shifts on either side. And to the dials, you have the AMG branding on the bottom of the speedometer, 6.3 V8 on the bottom of the rev meter. And the center of the console, the sat nav lives inside there. Have your radio controls, heated seats, heater controls, your gear shifter. When you pull it into manual mode, you can also opt to change up and down the gear by pushing the lever right or left, and your sport, comfort and manual mode just there. And you also have this nice little hidden cubby hole which closes like so, but the secret button to here is on the side. That's pretty cool. So if we move on to the rear, you also get these cutouts on the back of the front seats. That's quite clever for those guys who are quite tall. Your knees won't be digging into the back of the seat, so that's quite clever. And also on the side you have all these controls for how tight you want the bolsters. But full leather interior. This is the AMG Napa leather, and it can comfortably seat 3 adults. But if you're super tall, then you are not going to get a lot of leg space. And to the trunk of the car, we have quite a bit of space. Netting on the side, and below here we have the spare wheel with the battery. And you can also fold down the seats by using these levers here. So if you pull that towards you, and this one for the other side, and you can push the seats down. So here we are inside the C63 AMG. It's a bit dark at the moment, but that's because of the trees overhead. But not to worry, we are starting in comfort mode. It shifts the gears slightly earlier, but we shall change that to sport mode, and that should hold the revs slightly longer. So I just put my foot down. This is still in automatic mode. Oh my god, this thing goes like crazy. I'm going to stick it into manual mode and give that a try. So press the same button. So now I have full control. I can see that I'm in 3rd gear. I will have to use the paddles. So I just press it. I don't even feel it changing. Drop it down to 3rd, plant my foot. This is seriously quick. 451 brake horsepower as standard, and the turning in, gosh, just the growl of that engine. But anyways, I was talking about the turning in of the car. It's not too bad. The owner has gone a width wider on both the front and the rear tyres, so we do have a better turn in. Running on these Michelin Pilot Super Sports definitely gives it a lot of grip. Combined with those suspension and those 6-pot brakes at the front and the 4-pot at the rear, this car stops well too. So I was going to stamp on the brakes, and it stops well. Don't forget, this car weighs almost 2 tons. So this 7-speed automatic gearbox or semi-automatic gearbox isn't like one of the later or the more recent DCT dual clutch gearboxes. This is still the traditional ones, so gear changes are slightly slower, but it still does the job fine. And if you're blasting through the country roads and you're in high revs, the tachometer does flash up and it turns on red telling you to shift up 1 gear. So that's quite cool as well. Unfortunately, this isn't fitted with the performance pack, so we don't get the suede steering wheel or the harder suspension, which is tuned for track, nor do we get the limited slip differential. So on the cornering it may not be as good, but that option was quite expensive at first. We'll slow things down a bit and we'll talk about the interior. The driving position isn't too bad. I'm on the lowest seat setting at the moment, and I am seated quite high, but the steering wheel is in a good position, and the steering wheel does feel great. So these front seats are really supportive. The side bolsters definitely hug you in, and for someone as thin as me, I'm still seated really tight in here. You can also adjust how much you want the back of the seat to inflate or deflate by using those 3 side buttons. But all in all, this is quite comfortable. Can be quite a bit hard though, but I'm sure if you stick it in comfort mode and you're just cruising along, it isn't too bad. So you can change these modes from comfort to sport and then to manual mode by pressing the same button, and it just goes round. But you can also switch off the DSC, which is found just below the hazard switch, and that one, if you press it once, you can turn it off to setting 1, I suppose, and if you press and hold, you can turn off everything, so you get another light on top of the rev meter. Now this does cause the tail to slide out, and it can be quite hairy, but I wouldn't suggest doing so. Now I love the styling of the car. It looks really aggressive, especially from the front, and whilst I'm driving I can definitely see those two distinctive lines on the bonnet. It kind of looks like horns. So the C63 AMG weighs in at 1,693 kilograms. So I want to say a big thank you to Tina for letting me drive her C63 AMG today. She is a really busy lady, but this is her daily, and you do expect those cosmetic marks on the door cards and a few marks on the bodywork, but this car is still very clean. So don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Stay safe, drive safely, and I'll see you guys soon. So I'm here with Mr. Lemon from Storm Motorsport. He's got a very busy schedule, but we've managed to get hold of him. And yeah, just being 10 minutes in his workshop, we've come across many nice cars.